Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in the German city of Ulm, though his earliest memories were not tied to that city at all. His family soon moved to Munich, and it was there that the foundational fragments of his young mind began shaping into something extraordinary. His father, Hermann Einstein, owned a small electrochemical workshop, and his mother, Pauline Koch, was deeply stern about education, artistry, and discipline. Though Einstein later became an icon of scientific genius, his childhood did not begin with brilliance. Teachers initially considered him slow and somewhat unresponsive because he spoke late. His own parents feared his speech delay might indicate a cognitive difficulty. Yet inside his young head, thoughts expanded beyond words. He simply did not express them until he was ready. One of the earliest sparks of wonder entered Einstein's mind when his father placed a magnetic compass into his small hands. He asked why the needle always pointed in one direction though no one touched it. That quiet moment lit an internal fire, a lifelong obsession with invisible forces guiding reality. This object, simple and ordinary, convinced him that nature had secrets that ordinary eyes could not see. Einstein attended a Catholic school in Munich. Even though he himself came from a Jewish family, he excelled in mathematics and intuition-based thinking rather than memorized facts. He found the German education system rigid and suffocating. Teachers punished curiosity. They rewarded obedience. He disliked forced learning. He wanted reasoning instead of repetition. One of his teachers famously told him that no matter what he did in life, he would never amount to anything. Ironically, that voice would later echo across a world that would come to admire him more than almost any student that teacher. When his father's business collapsed, the family moved to Italy, leaving Einstein behind temporarily so he could finish school. He stayed with relatives, and his loneliness deepened when he realized he did not belong to that structured learning environment. Eventually, he abandoned his formal schooling and joined his family in Italy. Soon after, he applied to the Swiss Federal Polytechnic in Zurich. He failed the entrance examination, not in math or physics, but in language, biology, and general subjects that failed to interest him. This failure is often misunderstood. Einstein did not fail because he lacked ability. He simply ignored anything that did not inspire him mentally. After studying independently, he passed the exam the second time and officially began his journey toward academia and scientific discovery. At Zurich, Einstein met Millie Vamarick. She was brilliant, intensely curious, and intellectually strong. Einstein admired her deeply. Their relationship evolved into marriage, though it brought significant personal tension. They shared a passion for physics but also endured poverty, isolation, and differences in personality. Einstein's early years, after graduation, were more filled with rejection than success. Despite high grades and glowing recommendations from some professors, many academic institutions refused to hire him. He lacked political connections, was outspoken, and challenged authority. His rebellious thinking cost him opportunities. Unable to get an academic post, he took a job at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. The world imagines Einstein working in laboratories filled with instruments and formulas, but his groundbreaking ideas emerged from a quiet room filled with mechanical patent requests. He reviewed machine designs, electrical systems, and engineering proposals. This job, ironically, gave him freedom. He performed his duties efficiently and spent his extra time thinking. He later said that this period was when his mind matured. He began finding patterns in how the world operated. He developed thought experiments, mental simulations when no physical experiment existed. It was during this period, his miracle year, 1905, that Einstein published 4 papers that changed humanity's understanding of the universe. The first was about light's particle nature. He explained the photoelectric effect, showing that light behaved not only as a wave but also as discrete energy, packets called quanta. The idea was revolutionary. This paper became the foundation of quantum mechanics and would later earn him the Nobel Prize. His second paper focused on Brownian motion, tiny unpredictable movements of microscopic particles suspended in fluid. Though many scientists debated whether atoms truly existed, Einstein mathematically proved that invisible particles must exist. In doing so, he helped destroy the last doubts about atomic reality. His third paper introduced special relativity. It challenged the entire understanding of time and space. To Einstein, no clock ran universally. Time was flexible. It expanded, contracted, and altered depending on speed. The speed of light remained constant, but time, length, and mass shifted as velocity approached that limit. This was not just a scientific idea. It was a philosophical transformation. Humanity would no longer assume that time was a straight, unbendable line. He showed that time was relative, not absolute. Then came the fourth paper, where he derived perhaps the most famous equation ever conceived: E equals mc squared. This formula declared that mass itself was frozen energy. A stone resting on the ground contained explosive amounts of energy, not yet released. The equation was so powerful that it would eventually reshape geopolitics, military technology, medical imaging, astrophysics, and cosmology. Though Einstein produced works far beyond imagination, the world initially did not react dramatically. Years passed before the scientific community fully understood what he had given them. Einstein eventually became a lecturer and professor. His reputation gradually expanded beyond academia. But what rose significantly was his curiosity about gravity. Newton's gravitational laws determined how objects pulled on each other but not why. Einstein formed a vision. Gravity was not a pull, it was geometry. Space itself bent. Time shaped itself around mass. The presence of heavy objects stretched the fabric of reality like a ball on a rubber sheet. Light did not travel in straight lines, space curved, guiding light along invisible arcs. The universe, he argued, was not static but dynamic. This concept matured into the general theory of relativity. In 1915, he completed this theory. It predicted that gravity could bend light. When astronomers observed this effect during a solar eclipse in 1919, Einstein became world famous overnight. Headlines across Europe declared a cosmic revolution. Einstein became not just a scientist but a legend. Crowds gathered outside his lectures. Journalists tracked him across borders. Photographs spread his image everywhere. His name symbolized genius. Yet world fame came with personal stress. His marriage deteriorated. He separated from Mileva. Their relationship had been built upon intellectual companionship, but weakened under pressure. Eventually, they divorced. Einstein later married his cousin, Elsa. She was a stabilizing presence, a guardian figure who protected him from overwhelming public demands. Einstein moved to Berlin, but Germany was shifting rapidly. Political chaos emerged. Antisemitism increased. Einstein, a Jewish scientist, became a target. Nationalists despised his theories. Many preferred classical science, rejecting relativity as unpatriotic nonsense. He also spoke against rising prejudice and violence, which angered extremists. As Adolf Hitler rose to power, Einstein realized he could not remain in Germany. He left permanently and settled in the United States. He accepted a position at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, New Jersey. There, he lived a simple life. His home was modest. He disliked display and loved silence. He used no socks, preferred loose clothing, and avoided formalities. Though Einstein is widely connected to nuclear weapons, he did not build them. When he signed a letter urging President Franklin Roosevelt to consider atomic research, it was out of fear that Germany, before the war turned, might build such weapons first. The US government used the letter as motivation. But Einstein was excluded from the Manhattan Project. His political views, criticisms of military systems, and pacifist background made authorities distrust him. Einstein lived with regret afterward. He was not directly responsible, but he understood his influence. He later said that if he had known Germany would fail to produce nuclear weapons, he would never have sent that letter. As he aged, he shifted away from quantum mechanics. The scientific community embraced quantum theory and its statistical uncertainty. Einstein disliked randomness. He believed nature had deeper laws, not statistical guesses. He famously stated, "God does not play dice." He sought a unified field, theory that would merge gravity, electromagnetism, and quantum phenomena into one framework. But the world around him moved faster than his own direction. Younger physicists studied particle interactions, quantum field mechanics, and probability-based models. Einstein grew intellectually isolated, not because he lacked brilliance, but because he dreamed of continuity when the world embraced fragmentation. In his Princeton life, Einstein walked alone daily. Children followed him asking for math help. Most people knew his face, though few understood his mind. He believed that simplicity guided truth. When asked how he thought, he replied, "I think in pictures, not words." He imagined beams of light, bending space, expanding universes. While Einstein worked, the world changed. He lived through 2 world wars, the atomic bomb, and the reshaping of nations. Yet he remained a supporter of peace. He warned against nationalism, racism, and blind obedience. In his personal life, Einstein was gentle, humorous, and sometimes stubborn. His music gave him comfort. He played violin passionately, especially Mozart. He believed that music, mathematics, and thought followed similar harmonies. Einstein eventually became ill. His body began failing, though his mind remained active until the final days. On April 18, 1955, he passed away at Princeton Hospital. Hours earlier, he requested that doctors not artificially prolong his life. He said that he had done his share and nature should take its course. His brain was removed, illegally, and without permission, by the examining physician. It was preserved, studied, sliced into sections, measured, and questioned. Years later, scientists analyzed its structure. They found regions of unusual development, but no anatomy could explain how a child holding a compass grew into a mind capable of reshaping the universe. Einstein's death did not end his influence. Modern cosmology owes its foundations to his equations. Black holes emerged from his mathematics. Gravitational waves, the ripples of space-time, were detected a century after he predicted them. GPS satellites use relativity to calculate time adjustments. Without Einstein, navigation would fail. He altered every scientific institution, not through laboratories but through imagination. His legacy is not equations alone. It is the encouragement to question assumptions. Einstein proved that education is not memorizing formulas. It is understanding principles. Einstein's story is not one of immediate triumph. He was misunderstood, rejected, doubted, and underestimated. His journey shows that groundbreaking ideas rarely begin with recognition. They begin with curiosity. He grew up shy, quiet, and introspective. He disliked authority. He remained humble even after global admiration. He refused political power. He rejected wealth. He embraced ideas great enough to influence thousands of years. Albert Einstein transformed science, imagination, metaphysics, time, and space itself. His life illustrates that geniuses are not born through privilege, but through relentless questioning. Einstein left a universe that looks nothing like the one he was born into. That is his ultimate proof that one mind, guided not by acceptance but by curiosity, can bend reality itself.